A mysterious virus attacks the Earth and turns the people into brutal monsters. Will they be stopped? Or will humans go extinct? Let's find out, as today, on Anime Recaps, we will be covering the first 4 episodes of the series Black Bullet. The series opens up with a group of people, seemingly celebrating some kind of festival together. But that's not the truth. They are there, camping on a big ground, because the rest of the city has been completely destroyed by a deadly parasitic virus known as Gastrea. The virus has annihilated Tokyo City, compelling the people to flee from there. In the meantime, 2 fighter planes fly above the ground and start firing missiles at the huge virus, Gastrea. Following this, the people are asked to evacuate the place and run away from there as soon as possible. On the other hand, the Gastrea gets hurt by the firings and is about to fall to the same place where the people are residing. While this is all happening, a little boy, Rentaro Satomi, can be seen watching the giant Gastrea in shock. Everybody starts running away from the place, and unfortunately, during the process, Rentaro is pushed by one of the running people, causing him to fall to the ground. In no time, the Gastrea also drops to the ground in front of Rentaro. Afraid, Rentaro carefully looks at the giant monster, and while he is doing so, someone suggests he run away from there if he wants to remain alive. The scene then fast forwards by 10 years, where Rentaro now works for a Tendo civil security agency, which fights against different levels of Gastrea prevalent in the city. He rides his bicycle and arrives at a building where a Tokyo police officer, Tadashima, informs him that there may be the presence of Gastrea on the 4th floor of the building. Together, Tadashima and Rentaro take a lift to the 4th floor, and when they arrive there, they meet 3 armed police officers outside the suspected room. One of the officers informs them that 2 of their colleagues entered the room sometime before and were killed. Surprisingly, as Tadashima is scolding his officers, Rentaro pulls out his gun and enters the room. Inside the room, Rentaro finds the gruesomely killed bodies of 2 officers and a masked man waiting for his arrival at the scene. Soon, the masked man asks Rentaro to join him, but when he refuses, a fight ensues between the 2, in which the masked man overpowers Rentaro. He easily blocks Rentaro's attacks and also kills the other officers who enter the room after hearing the commotion inside. Before fleeing from the building, the masked man tells Rentaro that he is soon going to destroy the world and no one can stop him from doing this. After that, a girl named Enju can be seen running on the streets, accusing Rentaro of leaving her alone. On her way, she meets a Gastrea-infected man who asks for help. However, after looking at his miserable condition, Enju replies that no one can help him at the moment. Soon, the Gastrea virus inside the man increases by more than 50%, and he transforms into a giant Gastrea spider. The spider then starts attacking Enju. Fortunately, Tadashima and Rentaro arrive at the scene, and Rentaro weakens the Gastrea spider with his black Varanium bullets. After this, Enju unleashes her power and attacks the creature, destroying it into several pieces. As soon as the fight is over, Enju introduces herself to the police officer as Rentaro's assistant and his lover. She also comes closer to Rentaro and reminds him about a sale happening in the nearby market. Hearing this, Rentaro quickly rushes towards the market. In the following scene, Rentaro presents his daily report to his boss, Kisara Tendo, and gets severely scolded by her. Kisara scolds Rentaro for forgetting to collect the company's fee for aiding the Tokyo police and going to the market to attend the sale. Rentaro apologizes to her and tells her that he has also bought a packet of beans for her from the sale. Enraged, Kisara tells Rentaro that he has changed and reminds him about his parents. Rentaro replies to her that he hasn't forgotten his parents and will definitely find them one day. After the meeting with Kisara, Rentaro meets his teacher, Dr. Sumari Moruto, and discusses the Gastrea virus. Sumiri tells him that the latest Gastrea virus has the ability to hide because of its camouflage power. Following this, Rentaro returns home and prepares a delicious meal for Enju and himself. The next day, after leaving Enju at school, Rentaro ruminates about humanity's struggle against the virus and their final hope for survival, the cursed children. The cursed children are the ones who have powers to fight against the Gastrea, but are hated in society. Later that day, Seitanshi, the ruler of the Tokyo area, summons the top civil security agencies to the Ministry of Defense and gives them orders to kill a specific Gastrea monster and take a briefcase it is holding. When Seitanshi is ordering the civil officers to complete their assigned task as soon as possible, the masked man, Keigatani Haruko, abruptly enters the scene with his so-called daughter, a cursed child, Kohina. He then reveals his plan to use the ruler's case's contents, the inheritance of the 7 stars, to annihilate the Tokyo area. As he says this, the civil officers present in the room attack Keigatani and fire bullets at him. Surprisingly, none of their bullets hit Keigatani, as he constructs a protective magnetic shield around him and stops the bullets. He then fires back the bullets at the officers and kills most of them. After the battle, he goes away from there, claiming that he will find the case by himself. The following day, while Rentaro and Enju are roaming around the streets, they witness a cursed child being beaten by a group of people. The cursed child approaches Enju and asks for help. Being a cursed child herself, Enju wants to help, but Rentaro stops her from doing so. He is worried about the fact that if people find out Enju is a cursed child, they will attack her too. Later, a couple of police officers arrive there, arrest the cursed child, and take her away. Rentaro then orders Enju to return home and follows the police officers. He witnesses the officers taking the cursed child inside an abandoned building and shooting her multiple times. After the officers walk away from there, Rentaro takes the girl to a hospital, and luckily, she gets saved. While returning from the hospital, Rentaro is approached by Keigatani, who invites him to join him. When Rentaro refuses, Keigatani intimidates him by mentioning that he will go to Enju's school the following day. The next day, after getting a call from Enju's school, Rentaro rushes to the place. There, he is shocked to find that everyone knows about Enju being a cursed child, causing her to flee from the school in despair. He searches for her around the city, but fails to find her. Lastly, while investigating the outer districts, he meets Matsuzaki, an elderly man who has a lot of cursed children in his home and takes care of them. Matsuzaki tells Rentaro that Enju is not there and offers him another cursed child as a replacement. Rentaro, however, refuses his offer and leaves after mentioning the importance of Enju in his life. Right after Rentaro leaves, Matsuzaki turns to Enju, who is hiding there, and asks her if she really wants to leave Rentaro. Enju doesn't reply a single word and keeps on crying. The next day, Rentaro gets a call from one of Enju's teachers, who informs him that Enju was seen in her school recently. Rentaro immediately rushes to the place, and when he reaches there, he finds Enju trying her best to enter the school, but is blocked by other students. Seeing this, Rentaro approaches Enju and advises her to transfer to another school. Just then, Kisara gets the location of the recent Gastrea infection and sends a helicopter to the school to pick up Rentaro and Enju. Together, the duo arrives at a place where they discover a huge Gastrea, which seems to be level 4. Rentaro is surprised to see the huge Gastrea, but an angry Enju jumps from the helicopter and attacks it, defeating it easily. After that, Enju sobs and hugs Rentaro. Rentaro also consoles her by telling that he is always by her side and will never leave her alone. Soon, they find the case present inside the Gastrea, which Seitanshi was talking about. When Rentaro tries to retrieve the case, Keigatani and Kohina arrive there and attack them. Feeling insecure, Rentaro suggests that Enju run away from there, to which she agrees. After this, when Rentaro confronts Keigatani, he is badly injured by Kohina and finds himself overpowered by Keigatani's Varanium powers. Later, when Rentaro wakes up in the hospital, Seitanshi can be seen looking after him and waiting for him to open his eyes. She welcomes him back and asks him to help prevent Keigatani from utilizing the catalyst in the case. She also mentions that Keigatani is planning to use the case to call forth a lethal Stage 5 Gastrea that has the power to demolish the monolith barriers surrounding the city. At last, she urges him to work with other civil officers and confront Keigatani. Hearing this, Rentaro immediately gets up from his hospital bed and is ready to go on the mission. On his way to the mission, he meets Sumari, who hands him a bag of high-tech weapons and a packet of advanced drugs, which she forbids him to use in normal conditions. As the mission begins, Rentaro and Enju come across a level 4 Gastrea and easily defeat it. After this, they find Keo Senju, a cursed child associated with a civil officer, Shogun Ikuma. Rentaro stops Enju from attacking Senju when she mentions that she is separated from her master. However, she gets shocked after knowing that she is searching for Keigatani and is blindly obeying Shogun's commands to kill him. At the same time, Senju receives a call from Shogun, informing her that he has found Keigatani. The trio then proceeds to the Bay region, where other civil officers are planning to assault Keigatani. While Senju stays behind to protect the area from the approaching Gastrea, Rentaro and Enju enter the Bay region. After walking deep into the area, the duo meet Shogun, who is severely injured and dies as he approaches them. Just then, Keigatani and Kohina take a stance in front of the two and inform them that all of the other civil officers have been brutally murdered. Hearing this, Rentaro gets enraged and rushes to attack Keigatani. Keigatani tries to protect himself by creating a maximum pain shield around him. But to his surprise, Rentaro penetrates the shield and succeeds in landing a solid blow on him. Here, it is revealed that Rentaro has a hand and a leg of Varanium, and he used the same to breach Keigatani's Varanium barrier. Then, Keigatani exhorts Rentaro to side with him in launching a new Gastrea war, but Rentaro refuses, ensuing a fight between them. During the fight, when Rentaro tries to save Enju, Keigatani uses this opportunity and shoots him in the abdomen. Rentaro is severely injured by the bullet and loses a lot of blood. Seeing him in this condition, Enju sits beside him and starts crying. On the verge of death, Rentaro takes out the AGV drugs that Sumari provided him, which is capable of producing Gastrea's refined powers into humans. As soon as he injects all of the drugs into his body, he successfully regenerates and fills his wounds. He then uses his Varanium-enhanced martial arts to brutally destroy Keigatani, making him fall deep into the ocean. Afterward, Rentaro gets a call from Kisara, who informs him about the unknown release of a level 5 Gastrea in Tokyo. She then suggests he visit the Heaven's Ladder railgun and use it to fire a deadly Varanium shot at the Gastrea before it destroys the city. Hurriedly, Rentaro visits the huge railgun and activates it, following the instructions from Kisara. He points the railgun to the Gastrea and is shocked to see its size, which is similar to the one which was shown at the beginning of the series. Unfortunately, when Kisara and a control member from the headquarters try to control the railgun, the connection breaks and Rentaro is asked to maneuver the weapon by himself. To his bad luck, when he tries to fire the shot, the railgun appears empty and runs low on Varanium. Having very little time, Rentaro detaches his own Varanian arm and loads it into the missile. After this, the weapon activates and is ready to fire. At first, Rentaro gets afraid, but when Enju motivates him and tells him that he is the savior of the world, he gains back his confidence and fires a perfect missile shot at the Gastrea, destroying it instantly. After protecting the region from Gastrea, Rentaro comes outside of the railgun and finds Senju on the verge of death. She seems badly injured by Gastrea and requests him to end her misery before she turns into a Gastrea herself. Hearing this, Rentaro shoots her with a gun and grants her request. The episode ends with Enju receiving the normal-looking report of her Gastrea corrosion examination from Rentaro, but unbeknownst to her, she is 42.1% infected, leaving only 7.9% left to turn herself into a Gastrea.